All right, so I know I just sent you guys an email and told you a little bit about how tomorrow is 3 years when I gave a sermon out of Ephesians chapter 1 and a little bit of chapter 2, and how 3 years ago exactly was kind of when the Lord really just started moving in my heart in a way that it was literally life-changing. And everything that we're kind of going into now really is a result of this beginning work that the Lord started doing 3 years ago in me. And I know I already kind of told you that there's the link that you can go and check out, and kind of get a little bit, of the story a little bit more. I'm going to share a little bit about it on Sunday as well. But I was sitting here and I started getting curious, and it's kind of like a car accident where you shouldn't look, but you do anyway. So I just, out of curiosity, I went on the Movement's webpage, I pulled up the sermon from 3 years ago, and I started watching it, and it's painful to watch. Here, look, I'll show you. See, I had to put pause, though, because because it was, I had to stop. It was hard to, I'm only about 2/3 the way through, so, man, what a difference 3 years makes. So, anyway, but I wanted to show you that just because, and tell you about that, because I wanted to encourage you guys in something, actually. As I was watching through this sermon, all these memories started kind of coming back to me a little bit, and I'm hearing myself teach these things. When I say painful, I just mean, you ever hear yourself on your voicemail, or back in the day when we used to have answering machines and you hear your own voice. I got used to that over the years. Hear my voice recorded just through singing and through preaching. But some of it's just a little bit of that, where I'm just going oh man, why'd you say it that way? And just me critiquing myself. So, but in it, there was a little bit of cringing too, just in. As I watched through some of it, I see some just a lot of really cool stuff, because I think back to where I was at 3 years ago, and I remember, and as I watched, and I can hear some of the excitement in my voice of seeing certain things about God in a new way, and I remember finally seeing some of these parts of God's beauty and glory that I'd never seen before, and I can hear that behind my voice, because I remember a little bit about what I was thinking going into preaching this particular sermon, and but in it as well. I caught little parts of the sermon that where I wasn't quite convinced. And I can see myself in my head and everything, trying to convince myself a little bit that some of these things that I was wrestling with, these just these certain truths about God, my flesh, just who I was, my own sinfulness, I just didn't want to accept some of it. And so I could see myself and hear myself in the sermon, and I saw it in my notes too, where I'm trying to step around certain things about God that I just didn't like. And it's just, I started thinking about us, and just kind of where God is taking us, and I know that every day, every week, every year, every sermon, every community group, we're all going to be challenged in so many ways. God's going to confront us in sin. He's going to confront us in our just how we see Him, how we see ourselves, how we see our marriage, how we see parenting, how we see everything, how we see suffering, how we see money. I mean, you name it. There's nothing in creation that God looks at and doesn't say, mine. Everything is God's. Everything is His. I mean, there's scripture that talk about. I mean, He is God over all. He is the Lord of all creation. And so we're going to be challenged and confronted with this constantly through the course of our life as Life Mission Church, as this body of believers. And so as I'm watching this video, I get really excited for us because it's been a really great last 3 years. Knowing Jesus more and more, and you know what's so funny about this right now is that I totally thought this would be like a real quick little video, and I was just going to say, hey, how's it going? And I didn't expect it to hit me like this, and I'm actually treating it as if you're sitting right in front of me because I can't even look the camera in the eye. as if you know you're sitting right here, and how weird is that? That like I can't even look the camera in the eye because man, I'll try harder to do that. I can't do it. Oh my goodness. But I get excited because it's been a really great 3 years. Even though it's been a really tough and challenging 3 years too, for a lot of reasons, many reasons. But it starts, the toughness of the last 3 years started with being faced with truth, to be totally honest. And I don't know how to explain that quite, because it's something that I think we all have to all walk through ourselves and experience God's truth and being confronted with God's truth and wrestling with God's truth as I see myself in this video. You know, if you were to watch it, please don't. But if you were to watch it, you wouldn't see me wrestling with God's truth. But I remember it, and I can almost hear my thoughts as I'm talking through these things. And anyway, I'm excited because we're all gonna have to go through our own walk with Christ, being confronted by His love, His truth, all these great things, and I'm excited just to see where we're all in 3 years, and I suspect that we'll be saying similar things that I'm saying right now. That in 3 years from now, you're going to be saying that the last 3 years have been just the most amazing, invigorating, life-changing 3 years of your life, the most exciting 3 years of your life, but also that it's going to be some painful 3 years, and it's not a self-condemning prophecy. It's just the fact that when truth collides with your sinfulness and how you see your life and how you see God and how you see yourself and you see your own little world, that is just it's war. It's war against the spirit and the flesh. But this is what we want deep down, because we want the spirit to put to death our flesh and to crucify our flesh, and we want that to happen, but it's not fun all the time, and but it starts with just being confronted in the truth, and so and I think that this Sunday, in some ways, is going to be maybe the beginning of that in a new way. You know, we've been kind of casting vision a lot, but I think because this Sunday deals with the same exact topic that began this change in my life. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 1 and 2 starts with the very same topic that started changing me. And so I don't know. I guess you know, I've been known to be a nostalgic kind of a guy. I don't know if you could tell that, but I'm really excited. So anyway, I think it's going to be good. So yeah, this I meant to this just be a little 3-minute video. It turned out to be 11 minutes. I apologize for that, but I hope that you guys, if you're not excited about 1 Peter chapter 1, I hope that you're getting excited. And I think it's going to be. I think 1 Peter is going to be amazing, and I think that the next coming weeks and months and years are going to be amazing. So, so that's all. So you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you on not Super Bowl Sunday, but Life Mission Sunday.